Welcome back to Explain the Charts. Today, April 24th, 2025, we're diving deep into Meta stock, analyzing recent news and examining its chart patterns. Let's start with what's been happening in the news. According to recent reports, Meta's stock saw a price increase today, closing at $520.27, a 4% increase driven by global advertising on Threads. Benchmark and Stifel have, however, lowered their price targets for Meta. Meta is also facing a significant fine from the EU. Despite these headwinds, Wall Street analysts generally remain optimistic, with a consensus strong buy rating. The escalating US-China trade war and next week's earnings report are major factors influencing sentiment. Let's look at the charts. I'll be switching between the 1-day, 1-hour, and 15-minute candlestick charts today. First, let's examine the 1-day chart to get a broader perspective. We can see a significant amount of choppiness lately, but there's a recent rally today. Zooming out, we can see resistance around the 535 and 550 levels, tested multiple times from June-September 2024, and again near the present day this month in April. Support seems to be forming around the 480 to 490 area, which it tested during the end of March and earlier this week. The big red candle and the big green candle show that Meta is very volatile right now and reacting to outside events. Now, let's switch to the 1-hour chart for a closer look at recent price action. Here, we can see more granular levels of support and resistance, which are closer to the current price. From a shorter-term perspective, resistance appears around 535 and strong support around 480 and 490, which we spotted on the 1-day chart. I'm going to filter by timestamp to hone in on the current action. Here's the past few days on the hourly chart. The recent spike reflects today's news, but we must be cautious as the daily chart shows it approaching resistance. If it breaks $535 convincingly, then a test of $550 is likely. Otherwise, expect it to fall and test the 480 to 490 range again. Which is more likely? Given that analysts' price target cuts outnumber raised price targets, I suspect it will likely test the 480 to 490 range again. I give this scenario a 60% chance. Looking at the volume on these red candles, there is a higher transaction and volume when Meta trades downwards and lower transaction and volume when Meta trades upwards. This indicates further a higher likelihood of the price going down. For even more detail, let's move to the 15-minute chart. This is where we see the most recent fluctuations. Here on the 15-minute chart, we see that it has consolidated around 518 to 523 today, with a big gap between 500 and 518 from the last few days. If you're trading in the very short term, watch the trading volume around these price points in the short term to see if it breaks the current range. Let's recap. Meta stock is currently at $520.27. Key price levels to watch are resistance around $535 and $550 and support around $480 and $490. Given all of this, here are my unbiased predictions. First, I give a 60% chance of testing $480 to $490 in the short term due to mixed analyst sentiment and stronger downwards trading volume. If it breaks $535 convincingly, then a test of $550 is likely, but I only give this a 40% chance. Keep an eye on next week's earnings report and any further news regarding the EU fine and the US-China trade war and Threads ad revenue. These factors will heavily influence Meta's short-term and long-term trajectory. Good luck, and I'll explain more charts next time.